This episode has been brought to you by JustNForm.com. If you're tired of being censored, tired of having your data stolen and sold, go to JustNForm.com, a social media site where all voices are welcome.
Let's go ahead and get started, right? So, as you all know, we definitely have been covering the Tim Canova campaign at length for a long time. You all know Tim Canova is a good friend of mine. I worked on his campaign as a volunteer, and I will continue to do whatever I can, whatever capacity I can to help him out. And Tim has once again proven that he will continue to do whatever he can to make sure that your voices are heard, that you are represented in our democracy that is being honestly stolen from us from all sides, not Democrat, not Republican, all sides, and I'm not gonna blame other third parties, but I would say that outside of Jill Stein herself, hers personally, other third parties are complicit in our democracy being taken away from us, or else we would have ranked choice voting in every state right now, or else we would have ballot initiatives being put on the table right now to make sure that third parties had access to debate stages and things like that, that we had access to ballots, that we were hand counting ballots in front of multiple people, that we were not using voting machines, that we were only doing paper ballots, that we're doing automatic audits, all that good stuff. We need those ballot initiatives right now. And there are third parties with the means and the resources to do that and the organization to do that. And yet we have not seen it because I feel personally that third parties have overall become complicit in losing. And I think that that culture needs to change. You can't become the Cleveland Browns of politics and expect to be effective. It doesn't matter how great your policies are, you still have to have the infrastructure. You still have to have a quote-unquote winning culture. Tim Canova is one of the bravest people that I've seen and is one of the most consistent in his values. And he yet again is showing that. Disobedient Media and Elizabeth Voss reports that earlier in the week, December 1st, former congressional candidate Tim Canova announced that his legal team filed a complaint officially contesting the election results in last month's congressional race, in which Tim Canova faced off against former DNC chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The Tim Canova campaign website says that Tim Canova, independent candidate in Florida's 23rd congressional district, has filed a motion for court to invalidate, turn up, the election results for 2018 general election, and declare that a new election shall proceed with hand-marked paper ballots that are counted by hand in public and reported immediately and publicly at the local precinct level. In the details of Tim Canova's court filing, Broward County election supervisor Brenda Snipes is alleged to have engaged in misconduct that was sufficient to change or place in doubt the results of the 2018 election. Canova cites Snipes, Bozell Spencer, the SOE director of voting equipment, and the deputy supervisors violated their oaths to faithfully perform their duties, engaged in repeated misconduct and violations of state and federal laws, including criminal statutes. Highlights in that complaint: Snipes failed to safeguard the chain of custody in the paper ballots cast in Broward County for this election, and the scope of the issue was sufficient to change or place in doubt the results of this election that are now certified. The certification of the purported 2018 election results is based on inadequate and incomplete information, and it is therefore an invalid certification of those results. More specifically, approximately 98,000 votes are reported by Snipes to have been cast for Schultz without any indication as to how or when those votes were cast. To date, Snipes still has not provided this information about the 98,000 votes from nowhere. The voting machines used for the election are inherently defective as to the chain of custody for the electronic votes cast in this election. So, Tim Canova's team did a fantastic job. Once again, I guess I technically am part of his team. It's weird when you're speaking about something that you were part of, but in hindsight, tangentially, but you're like, I was there and I was part of it and I did help investigate stuff, but like, I'm a journalist now, so like I always forget politics stuff. I forget to include myself in it. But yeah, I guess the team of Tim Canova, including myself and others who were involved, they did a fantastic job putting this information together, getting it to Tim in a timely and prompt manner, and allowing Tim to dispute these results, in my personal opinion, more than anything else, what lets us know that we need to decertify these elections is the fact that Brenda Snipes was indeed, whether or not she wants to say it or not, she was indeed forced to resign. That lets us know everything about the Florida's 23rd, not just Tim Canova's elections, but I think we would have to re-vote in every single race in Florida's 23rd district, which is Broward County. For those of you who aren't familiar with the area, Broward County would be the Fort Lauderdale area, and just there's a smidgen north of North Miami. I think even part of it is, I think that some of Broward is even considered Miami. So, yeah, it's Tim Canova's doing what he can to preserve our democracy, and the fact that Brenda Snipes had to resign really is indicative of how many people don't have faith in these elections. That's what Tim is highlighting, and everything that he said was true. The discrepancies in the voter count, like I said, I gotta show you all the videos because the numbers, I can't remember all the numbers right off my head, but the videos that I did when I covered right after the election, I covered the election right after it was done, literally the day after, and I highlighted all of the discrepancies in the vote counting. Even if those votes were legitimate, the numbers were still way off. As in, there was some suppression going on, or even worse, like there was literally hundreds of thousands of people whose ballots were not counted. Like there was nobody's ballots were counted like that. Like they just fabricated results based off of absolutely nothing but the numbers that were put into the machines to reflect the numbers that they wanted us to see. Thanks for watching that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. You can donate to our Patreon and keep helping the network grow by clicking on the link in the description below. And also, make sure you join us at JustNForm.com. And finally, make sure you subscribe to us on Roku and be part of the very first independent news network on Roku TV. But more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.